Salmon is the state fish, and a state fossil is the woolly mammoth.
What's the state insect?
The dragonfly.
Dragonfly.
Yep, a dragonfly. So the state flower is the forget-me-not. How many of you guys have ever seen a forget-me-not?
I don't know what that is.
You don't know what that is? So I'm going to show you. I'm going to show. Okay, here's the state bird. You remember what I said it was? Do you remember what I said it was called?
Pilgrim. Willow.
The willow ptarmigan. So the P is silent. This is what it looks like. It's really cool because it's brown, but then in the winter, it turns white.
Yeah, I can
all,
see it turns
see
white.
a little bit of light under it? It turns all white. Do you know why it turns white? Who knows?
So we can find it.
It'll look like snout and a lemon.
Yep. So the predators won't get it, so it can stay alive. I found a little video where a man who was out in one of the parks in Alaska actually saw one. And we're going to watch a little bit of it. It's like 7 minutes long, but I'm only going to let you watch some of it. You have to watch some of it.
Today we are in Denali National Park. We arrived here today from an overnight stay in Talkeetna, Alaska, and we had just come across a family of willow ptarmigan in the thickets. I'm looking at the hen now, and I believe she is warming her chicks underneath her stomach. That's the drake. He's resting off to the side. The willow ptarmigan male are a type of ptarmigan that stay with the family. Yes, there's the chicks now, coming beneath the mother's stomach.
Aren't they cute? So they're not white yet, so what season was it? Summer. Oh yeah. During the winter season, they turn white, right? No, you're fine.
Ptarmigan are close relatives of forest and prairie grouse. They live in alpine and hard tundras throughout the northern hemisphere. Willow ptarmigan are found nearly everywhere in Alaska's high treeless country. They occupy a broad range throughout Canada,
Okay, so you guys see what they look like, right? So that's the state bird. Remember I talked about the state flower? What did I say it was? Forget-me-not. This is what it looks like. They're blue. Sometimes I think it said that they can be white. But that's why do you remember when I showed you the flag and it had the blue background?
Yeah.
Well, why do you think it was blue?
Because of the good background.
Because of the state flower, right?
And golden because it's little.
So what was the state bird?
Forget-me-not.
The state bird?
Oh, whatever.
Oh,
whatever.
Willow ptarmigan. And the forget-me-not was the state flower. Right? So here's the state flag. Yep. Yep. And remember when I pulled... No, it's not a video. Remember, I already read this to you about how it was, Alaska was adopted by the United States in 1959, right?
Yeah.
Remember when I told you what, it was the 40 what state to be?
49.
49, right, so one of the last ones. And remember it says it has a blue field with 8 yellow stars. So the background's blue because of the state flower. And the 7 smaller stars right here, what do they represent?
Big Dipper.
The Big Dipper. What does this one represent? The bigger one. The North Star, right? And who created the state flag? What was his name?
A 13-year-old boy.
Benny Benson. And he did it in a contest, right?
Yes.
He won a scholarship and a watch.
Okay. So what kind of animals? What kind of animals do you think lives in Alaska? Sled dogs, right? What have you guys been learning about the what? What's it called when they race and they do that? Well, that's one of the races, but the mushing, right?
The mush.
Yeah. Gotcha. What other animals do you think lives there? Moose. We talked about the mooses. That was the state animal, right? Or the state. What you got? Whales. You see the whales? And most of the animals that live in Alaska, not a lot of them live on land. Most of them live in the sea. The only ones that really live on the land is insects, because it's so cold.
And the moose.
And the moose. Yeah.
And the polar bears.
They're actually, polar bears do not live in Alaska. They live in the Arctic. Yep. So they live in the North Pole, and Alaska's in the West. That sounds hot. What else? Do you guys see the grizzly bears?
Yeah.
The grizzly bears. There's the sled dogs.
What are those pictures of mountains?
Yep, that's the mountains.
Is there mountains?
I can't hear. I don't know if blue whales live there, but I know
Beluga.
it talked about the bowhead whale that lived there. Alright, so I'm going to read you guys, I'm going to read you guys a few pages in this book that talks about Alaska and the things that live there. It's called Hooray for Antarctica. It talks about, there's penguins, and then it talks about how cold it is. So it says, let me find it. There's seabirds, there's seals, and there's whales that live there. You see the penguins? Right?
Yeah.
So it's, in the South Pole, we talked about that, right? You see where the South Pole is, there's the North Pole. And then we talked about how cold it gets, how sometimes it can be, what, negative 80 degrees. That's cold, right? What is that?
That's negative 80.
Sometimes it can get negative 90.
Yep. Look up here. And have you guys ever heard? You remember when I told you about how it can be 24 hours of daylight there, and then sometimes it's 24 hours of darkness, depending on the season in Alaska. So it'll be light all day. Even when you go to bed, it's light. And then and that's in the summer, so that's in January. And then in the winter months there, it's dark all the time. Can you imagine that? Waking up and it stays dark.
I know
When you come to school.
Wait, no.
But I thought this was cool because this was what the sky looks like sometimes. The lights.
Looks like the Northern Lights.
Because it is, Christina.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yes, the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
You know it.
Yep.
That's the Northern Lights.
Yep, that's what it says.
Southern Lights from the earth.
And remember when we talked about the animals, there's a whale. But most of the things that live in Alaska live in the ocean. A lot of them don't live on the land. I think it said they had a few insects. No, that's actually an insect.
That's disgusting.
Ew.
Wait, what's disgusting?
There's some seals. Yep. Alright, so that's just a little bit in this book.
Hey.
Yeah, because we talked about most of it. You guys got it, I think. So, what was the state bird? Who knows it? What is it?
The willow.
She's doing it. Ptarmigan. Remember the piece sound? It's spelled weird. What's the same flower? What you got, James? Forget-me-not. Yep. Yep. It is weird, isn't it? Okay, so look in. I don't know if we have. Guess we have time. Look in. You remember these packets you guys have? Okay, what says create your own Alaskan flag? Do you remember what I showed you? I'll put it back up here so you can see it. But what it looked like, you're gonna have to make it yourself.
Whoa.
So you're
Can we
gonna
make it our own flag?
Huh?
Just make it, we have to make it that far.
Yep, it has to be.
One star in the corner.
Or I guess if you want to make your own, what you think?
Okay.
Because it says create your own Alaskan flag.
Oh.
But
I'm gonna do my own.
how about we stick to what that one looks like? Okay. Okay. So remember, it has a blue background.
Oh,
Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna put it back up here so you can see it. I'm gonna put it.
That arrow go back. Yeah. Oh, who's back?
So that's the flag. That's what it looks like. So you guys have to put it on your when I tell you to. Okay.
Yes.
So in a minute, you're gonna go back to your seat and you're gonna draw the Alaskan flag. Okay.
You have to draw the pole.
You don't have to draw the pole. Just draw this.
I can't make a draw.
Okay. So I'm gonna let the girls
I don't.
go to your seat and get out your little packet.
Okay.
Pull that out.
Your old one. You're a girl.
You guys don't have these yet?
Yep.
Yeah, you got them. Now the boys, you go to your seat. And draw your flag.
Lori starred that page for me, and I created my own, not the real one. So should I just read a book?